יש אותה בלגן. רק שתהיה חנייה, מתחילים הדברים פשוטים, שתהיה חנייה שמה, נכון? ואם יש חנייה, שלא יתבלו, שם היו כאן שניים של רנטגאי. אתה יודע, כאילו הכל... תמיד הם עושים את זה אם יש טיול לגולה? ככה? נפגשים בכפר נחום? זה ממש מטומטם, גם חצי שעה נסיעה. וזה לא חוסך לנו זמן במשך היום.
יש אותם בירדנית.
איציק, אתה יודע מי זה איציק, נכון? בעל הבית? כמו שאצלכם זה עתיה? הוא משהו מחליט. So on the right hand side is, just at like 1 o'clock, is the American consulate. It's not the embassy, just the consulate. The embassy is southeast of here. And we have one more hotel to collect before we go. Tenemos un hotel más para recoger gente. Mucha gente. 26. Y después vamos a viajar. So we have 26 people to collect here, and then we're going to start going. I mean, driving. Ahmed is driving, I'm just sitting. לא נראה לי שיש פה 26, אבל אני מקווה שאולי יש... זה ממש מצחיק, אתה יודע? החבר'ה, התיירים מגיע, אתה מגיע באיחור 2 דקות, הם כבר, מה קרה, מה קורה, מה... אתה נוסע לכביש 6, שם אנחנו נפגשים. כמה שהבנתי, אני אוודא את זה עוד פעם עם הזה, כי כתוב לי מגידו.
ויעקב.
מה?
ויצא מהיר.
מה ביצע? לא נפגשים עם אף אחד, נוסעים פשוט לשם. אין צורך. אתה יודע מה אני טוען? פשוט לא צריך. Okay, I am going to explain all this again because when you listen once, you get it. It's before 6 o'clock in the morning. So let me explain once again. What we do is we collect people according to different locations. The idea behind it is to save you money and time, because if the bus had to go to each hotel and collect you, it'll take a long time. We have people on this bus. We don't have yet, but we're going to have people from Tel Aviv. And believe me, at the end of the day, you don't want to go to Tel Aviv to disperse them. So, we collect people according to location, and then we get you to one place where each of you is going to go on his own tour, okay? It's going to take, I'd say an hour and something. כמה זמן לוקח להגיע לשם? שעה וחצי, נכון?
שעה וחצי.
Yeah, about an hour and a half or less, okay? Voy a repetir eso en español. La cosa que hacemos es recogemos gente desde diferentes lugares para ahorrar tiempo y dinero para ustedes, porque si no hacemos eso, cada tour necesita ir a todos los hoteles y hay gente desde Tel Aviv y desde Jerusalén sobre el tour y se va un poquito problema al fin del día regresar la gente a Tel Aviv antes de llegar de ir a Jerusalén. Entonces, eso que hacemos y cogemos toda la gente a un lugar donde el tour va a empezar. Hay gente aquí desde 2 otros buses. No, la gente que habla en español solo un bus, 43. Y su guía se llama Telma. Ella habla español. Okay? So we have about, tenemos 1 hora y media más o menos para llegar al lugar donde vamos a cambiar. Este lugar es, tiene café y algo para comer y después, y también baños. Y después vamos a ir. So if you look a bit to the left, I'm using an analog clock, so around 11, 10 o'clock there's a a flat building, white with like black tops. That's the Israel Museum. It's one of the best museums in the world for archaeology and for Judaica. It's not bad with, you know, art and stuff, but archaeology in Judaica, it really excels. Now, it's not. It's actually in front of us, but we can't see it because of the trees. As we turn, you'll have a glimpse of it right now at 10 o'clock. That's the Knesset. That's the Israeli Parliament. How many of you did get stuck yesterday with all the demonstrations, rallies? Did anybody get stuck?
No.
Yeah, nobody? Okay, you're very lucky. Our buses yesterday, I know, got stuck. Our company buses. I wasn't working yesterday, and so people got stuck for an hour and a half, 2 hours until they got to where they needed, because roads were blocked. Today, hopefully, there will be no demonstration and no rally and no blockage of any road, especially because we have to travel quite far. On the left-hand side, this beautiful building at 9 o'clock. It looks like it's nothing, but that's a Supreme Court. The way they did this building is all symbolic. Everything there is related to the Bible and so on and so forth. Lo siento, pero realmente no puedo guiar en español. Puedo charlar, pero...
Don't worry, we understand.
Yeah, some of you, but not all of you. Algunas personas entienden inglés. Sí, no. Es una lección en inglés. ¿Sí? A lesson in English? Is that how you say it? Una lección en inglés? Sí. I can say it in Hebrew though, if you want. Puedo decir eso en hebreo. Eso no es ningún problema. Yeah. So on the left-hand side is a park. You can see it, right? All this greenery. We came next to it and it keeps going. It has a very funny name. It's called Sakim, which in American sounds really funny, but it actually is after the donor. The donor gave enough money, and so the place is named after him. So the Supreme Court is going to be on our left. And yesterday, I can tell you, there was a demonstration here. My daughter was here. She couldn't get out. It was so jam-packed with people where we are right now driving. So on the left-hand side is the government compound in a way. The next building you see with the curved roof is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And the next buildings are a collection of, all kinds of ministries. This is where the Ministry of Tourism is. This is where I took my oral test to become a guide. Becoming a guide in Israel is quite difficult. It's a 2-year, it used to be, they've shortened it, but it used to be a 2-year course, very intensive, and then 2 tests, 1 written and 1 oral. In my course, 50% passed the written test, and from the oral, 85%. Most people take it the second time, those who don't pass. I actually passed on the first time. Yay! It just means that I know how to study for tests. That's all it means. Don't get me too excited. Thank you. It was quite a few years ago. On the right-hand side, you can see a bridge. Well, actually, what you see is like a pillar going up with strings coming to it. It's a bridge. It's called the Strings Bridge. It was designed by a very famous Brazilian architect, whose name I always get wrong. Caldafore, something like that. I'm sorry. I've given up on the name. I've tried numerous times. I just can't say it. It just doesn't stick. Sorry. He has very similar bridges all over the world, basically. This is his style. It's a beautiful bridge, but we Jerusalemites seem to think that it's beautiful doesn't really fit in Jerusalem, like the style of it. Yeah, but you know. So what they're digging here on the right and everywhere else around here is the entry to Jerusalem. The fast train from Tel Aviv is right here on the right. The main bus station is here, and they're building like a compound where you'll have, transportation, commerce, and living all together. So if you look at the right, you can see what a mess it is. it's been like this for quite a while. We're actually getting up to Jerusalem in just a minute. הכל בסדר?
כן.
אלחמדולillah.
כל הכביש 6, נכון?
כן, אני צריכה לקשר למשרד. חכי, אני אתקשר אליהם, אני אומר מה המצב. כי אמרו לי, אבל אני רוצה לוודא שוב, כי בניירות שכתבו לי, איזה ניירות מטומטמים? הם כתבו לי בסוף היום, אני צריכה להיפגש בירדנית עם תלמה, וזהו. מה עם ריקי? ריקי נוסעת לגולן, אותה אני צריכה לאסוף את האנשים שלה גם כן. הם לגמרי, אתה יודע, הם עשו בלגן שנה, אני לא יודעת. מעדיפה לי
נראה לי, בכביש 6, מי שנוסע לגולן, לוקח אותה.
כן, וחותך קודם.
ו...
איפה יחתוך?
מה חותך? מה?
ביוקנעם? מה הוא יעשה?
במגידו, ושם.
נו, אז הוא נוסע כמו שאני נוסעת, מה זה משנה?
נכון, אבל בגלל זה אנחנו לא חייבים להתחיל מירדנית.
אנחנו לא מתחילים בירדנית, אנחנו מתחילים בנצרת.
אני יודע.
אתה רוצה להתחיל בירדנית?
לא.
אוקיי. אני מעדיפה נצרת, כי אחר כך נעשה שם עמוסה.
נעשה נצרת. אחרי שנסיים בנצרת ונעבוד דרך כפר כנא ונלך לטבריה. במקום לטבריה לעשות ירדנית, אוכל, כפר נחום וכפר. נעשה בהפוך.
אתה לא יכול.
למה?
בכפר נחום אתה צריך לפגוש את כולם בסוף היום. זאת הבעיה. אני התקשרתי אתמול, אמרתי לו, מה הסיפור הזה? למה לגמור עכשיו? אז עוד חצי שעה נסיעה סתם. בסוף היום, אז הוא אומר לי, לא. אין ברירה, כי... If there are any Americans on the tour, and if there are just... at the end of this bridge, that is the fast train bridge to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, on the left-hand side there's a little plaza. That is actually, if you have good vision, you can actually see something coming up. That is actually a memorial for 9/11. We have one of the Rabbins from there. There's like a white fence, stone fence around it. A bus cannot get there anyway, so a minibus maybe, but it's kind of difficult to turn around. אני רוצה לנסוע את הסידור הרגיל, לנסוע מנצרת, לעשות טבח, כפר נחום, אוכל, טבח, כפר נחום, ואז לרדת לירדן. כי אז משם אפשר להגיע לירושלים לפחות חצי שעה. אוקיי? תודה רבה. אחמד, אפשר לשתות לאכול על האוטובוס ולא מלכלכים, או... Yes, you can, but you're going to be careful, right? Because the bus is going to stay with us the whole day. You don't want Ahmed to
No,
be.
it's okay, it's okay.
He actually speaks fluent English. לא נכון. ביקשתי, שמעת, נכון? לא חושבת שייתנו לנו, אבל who knows.
רציתי להגיד לך שתגידי להם שידברו עם הנהג.
שידברו עם הנהג?
כן.
איזה נהג? שידברו איתך ישירות, לא ידברו איתך.
כן, שאני רוצה לגמרי בירדנית, כי
דבר
נוסע
באנגלית.
הדרך.
So our driver is Ahmed, and he is great. I love going with him. I don't know, those one family that first saw me, we hug. And he wants to practice his English. So if you have anything you want to say, you can talk to him because he does speak English and he just needs a bit of practice. Okay. Also, on the front of the bus, when you get off the bus, on the left-hand side, there's a door. That door is actually a refrigerator, and it has cold water there. The cold water goes for 5 shekels, $1, €1, something like that. And it's an honor system. There's a little basket there next to it. Leave the money and get off. Okay. I just put in 1 new bottle, so it might be not that cold. It's on the left-hand side. So if you're picking one, don't pick one from the left-hand side. I just put it in. If you want cold water, if you don't, then there's no issue. On the right-hand side, in just a minute, you're going to see a mosque with 4 minarets. A minaret, here we go, right now at 2 o'clock more or less. A minaret is a tower going over a mosque on which the muazzin, that's the man who goes up to call for prayer, goes up and calls for prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day. This is actually a very interesting design, the 4 the 4 minarets. And the reason for it is this village that is called Abu Ghosh, or Abu Osh. They are all from one family. And, I mean, originally, hundreds of years ago. And about, I don't know, quite a few years ago, somebody did research and they found out that they are from Chechnya. So, the president of Chechnya donated this mosque for the village. Ooh, right? Yeah. So it is a Chechnyan style mosque in a Muslim village. But this village is also Emmaus. Emmaus is where Jesus went after his resurrection with his disciples on the road to Emmaus. And they did not recognize him until he broke bread with them. It's a repeating phenomena. That is, they don't recognize him, and then, oops, he eats with them, and then all of a sudden they recognize him. So, it has a church that is one of 3 churches that survived from the Crusaders' times. The Crusaders were here between 1099 and 1291 altogether. And they have had a lot of churches, but the Muslims that came after them destroyed them. 3 churches remain. One in the old city in Jerusalem next to Lion's Gate called Santa Anna or Saint Anne. If you take our tour in the footsteps of Jesus going down from Mount of Olives, you will visit this church. This one was saved because it became a madrasa, which is a school for higher learning, Islamic learning. Then this one in Abu Ghosh, that was saved because it became a stable. Ooh. It is now, again, just like the one in St. Anne, it's again a church. It belongs to a monastery. It's a Dominican monastery, it's a very nice place. And they still have, on the walls up high, frescoes, that is drawings from the Crusaders' time. It's really beautiful. And then the last one is Ramle, which we are on the way to. We're not going to be there, but we're going to pass next to it. And that church is actually, the building survived, but it became a mosque. They changed directions. Instead of praying east like the Christians do. They're praying south to Mecca, like Muslims do. And then it became a mosque, and it's still the largest mosque in Rabin. Now, as we're going down on this road, I want you to pay attention to the mountains surrounding this road, or bordering this road, on the right and on the left. Right now, nothing on the right, but something on the left. In a minute, it's going to be on both sides. What is the story here? Well, the story is not about the mountain, but this road is the main road to Jerusalem. It's called road number 1. It goes from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, from Jerusalem to the Dead Sea. And as we're going, this is a 3 lanes road each way. But when the state was born in 1948, it was 1 lane, 6 meters wide, about 20 feet wide. And look at us. We are way down in the valley, and the mountains are next to us. So the Arabs, who were very smart, did the following. They had a lookout on the mountains. One person. It's called a faz'a. He would come, he would look, and if he see a Jewish car, he would call everybody, and they start, throwing stones and shooting. By the way, you cannot escape a stone that is being thrown at your car. If you have never had that happen to you, you just can't do that. You have to be very lucky with it. So, what happened was that, in fact, the road to Jerusalem was blocked, and there was a siege on Jerusalem. And so the Israelis tried to get in. A few operations to open the road, and quite a few battles here. Eventually, what was done was built a secondary road south of here, in a place you wouldn't think of, because it's not really very convenient for building a road. It's called the Boulevard. It's not used anymore. And that road actually brought supplies to Jerusalem. Jerusalem actually didn't have enough water, not to mention food and ammunition and medicine and whatever else you need to sustain a city. On the left-hand side, the building here that is sunk is the water pump, and that was exploded, and so there was no water to Jerusalem. Now, my uncle, who passed away about a year and a half when he was 96 years old, fought in battles here. And the one thing I remember from him telling about it is that he fell asleep during battle. The battles were so long, and there were bullets flying over him, but he fell asleep. He was so wiped out. Now, in just a minute, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a 3-story building with a red roof. That is a Han. A Han is a motel in Ottoman period, which is before the Brits came here, 1517 to 1917. So we can see it right now at 11 o'clock, 11 and a half. The Han has, first floor is for horses and what have you, and second floor is a room, hence a motel of all days. We'll talk about it in a minute, but just beyond it, on the left-hand side, you can see a line of remnants of cars. These are the armored vehicles that took Jews to Jerusalem. They were done in a sandwich system, metal, wood, metal. Why? Because if it's all metal, it's too heavy and the car couldn't take it. My father went in those caravans and he said it was quite frightening. Now, what is the motel? Why is there honking? Because until the train reached Jerusalem in 1892, the way to Jerusalem left Jaffa. There was no Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv started in 1909. Jaffa, in the morning, stopped in Ramleh for lunch, get here for dinner, and the next day start pushing up to Jerusalem. And sometimes you'll have to get off the carriage and push the carriage. It took a day and a half to get to Jerusalem. When the train got in, it was only 4 hours. Hey! It takes about an hour now if there is no traffic, but it takes much longer if there is, and there usually is. So my mother lives in the north of Tel Aviv. If she has a medical appointment that I need to, that I'm going to escort her to, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I leave my house at 5:30 in the morning and I'm there at 6:30. Because if I live at a reasonable hour, let's say 8:30, I might be stuck in traffic for 2 hours. I don't want to do that. So I go there much earlier and rest. קיבלתי חזרת תשובה שאי אפשר. כי צריך להיפגש עם ריקי מהמולה. זה מה שאמרו לי. לא יודעת, אתה יכול לדבר עם ניזר או עם ביתי או שזה לא משנה בכלל? תשמע, אני מנסה את כל הדרכים, אתה יודע, לא מזיק לנסות. אתה מסמן להם שזה... So we can get into a place called Latron. Latron is actually a mispronunciation of Ladron. They think that this is where the good thief that was crucified next to Jesus was born. Now on the right hand side there's another Emmaus. There are actually 4 Emmauses, but why? Because there are 2 different distances in the Bible, 60 rees and 30 rees. This one is the 60 rees. If you look to the left between the trees, in just a minute you're going to see a pillar and a tank above it. 2 seconds, now. See the tank on top of a pillar? Or actually like a stage kind of thingy? That is the main memorial and museum for the armored vehicles in Israel. This used to be a British police. And behind it is a monastery. The Emmaus I was talking about is actually on our right hand side, but it's very difficult to look at it from this direction. When you come to Jerusalem, then you can see it. The other 2 Emmauses, we actually passed one of them, and I was busy doing something else, closer to Jerusalem, and the third one is in the Palestinian Authority in a place called Kubeba, which is basically east of here. Now we are in the Ayalon Valley. The Ayalon Valley is in the Bible. It says, Shemesh begiv'on dom v'yarech be'emek Ayalon. The sun stood still in Giv'on and the moon in the Ayalon. So this is where we are. It's the war of Joshua, i.e. the book of Joshua against the kings. Now I'm inviting you to look to the left. There are 9, 10 o'clock, there are little pillars with little houses, white houses on top of it. These are ecological extermination. Each of those houses, a couple, a pair of barn owls. Each of those eats or consumes 2,000 rodents a year. 2,000 rodents! So you don't have to spray the fields against rodents. So this is ecological extermination. We do a lot of it in Israel. We're really trying to develop it so we won't have to use pesticides at all. 2 seconds. אחר כך. אוקיי, אוכל אצל בעלי. אוקיי? זה בחוף תכלת שם.
כן.
הוא חייב לי כסף. פעם הקודם שהייתי לא הייתי איתך. הייתי איתו, הוא לא היה לו 18 שקלים בשבילי. ואני לא זוכרת מי ענה, כתוב לי בבית. מה זה? נראה לך שהוא ייתן לי? אני אבקש, אבל הוא נורא לא מעוגן עם לתת את הכסף. אתה יודע מה אני מתכוונת? אתה בא אליו, הוא מטפל ב30 דברים, אין לו זמן בשבילך. תסלח לי.
פעם האחרונה שהייתי לא הלכתי לסגור, אני הלכתי.
יותר טוב.
ונתן לי יותר מדי.
לא, הוא מבולבל, הוא לא יודע. אני עשיתי לו את החשבון.
נתן לי 96 דולר. 96 דולר.
אחלה. נתת לו בחזרה או לא הסתכלת כמה הוא נותן?
לא, אני לא שמתי
שם בכיס וכשהגעת הבוקר.
אני באתי לאוטובוס ואני אומר למדוד כמה אנחנו? אמר לי 60, אמרתי לו כמה תגיע.
לא כל כך הרבה. 2.5 אני חושבת.
96. אז בוא תעזוב, אמרתי לו. אני אשאיר את זה עד שהוא יתקשר.
הוא יתקשר? אוקיי.
אבל נתן לי
במזאוי, אני צריכה שתעמוד ליד הקופה. אתה זוכר מה שקרה פעם הקודמת? לא זה. ואני ממש רוצה ללכת קודם לזה, לכנסייה, כי אז הם מכירים אחד את השני, וזה יותר קל. אלא אם במזאוי, אתה יודע, לא יהיה אף אחד, אז זה שווה. אחרת זה לא שווה, כי זה בלגן. אני לא מכירה אותם, אני לא יודעת מי הם, זה בלגן.
הם יוצאים, אנחנו ביחד מכביש 6, אז לא לבד.
אז לא מה?
לא לבד.
נכון. אנחנו 3 אוטובוסים היום בנצרת. 2 בספרדית.
2 בספרד.
כן, זה מה שאמרו לי. שנייה, אני צריכה להדריך שנייה, אז אני יכולה שוב להתקשקש.
חייב.
So, if you would look to the left, you see buildings. This is rumbling. I talked about it in connection to 2 things. First, the road to Jerusalem. You would stop here for lunch. And then about there is one Crusaders church that stayed there. It's still alive, although it's still standing, but it is right now a mosque. Now, we're actually going to leave road number 1 and move on to road number 6. It is a toll road. It's an interesting toll road. It was the first toll road in the world to have no toll booth. We have a system that reads your license plate and sends you a bill. And actually, they deduct it automatically from your bank account, so you don't even have to do anything about it. They do send you a bill, but they're just telling you how much it is. Now, more interesting than that, it's a toll road only part of the way, not the whole way. So as we're going north, here it is already paid, but when you go south, that is to the other direction, 180 degrees from where we're going, then the next exit, it becomes free of charge. It goes all the way from Beersheba and south of Beersheba to, it goes to Yokneam, and then there's same road but another name. It goes all the way to the Galilee. So it's a very nice road. It was also the first road. We don't see it here yet because now it's still road number 1 and 6 together, so it's kind of, not yet. But when they built the road, this was the first road in Israel that they did not sign the acceptance form from the contractors until they finished the greenery part. And the way they did the greenery is very smart. They did not want to do, anything that they would have to water. We're very conscious about water in Israel, so they didn't do that. Instead, what they've done is they've planted in each area what is local, what will grow here regardless. So on the left-hand side, those trees, the big ones, not the one closer to us, these are carobs, these are olive trees. So just things that grow here naturally and don't have to water. Carobs, by the way, are old man's, ancient times granola bar. You can just, it doesn't get spoiled. It stays for a long time, and it's very sugary and gives you a lot of energy. So I usually have carobs in my backpack. Not today because I finished my supply. Yeah. So we're going to go into a tunnel. And the question is, why is there a tunnel here? Why didn't they just explode the mountain? There isn't much more mountain to explode. Would have been much easier. And the answer is, above this tunnel, there is an archaeological site. It dates back 10,000 years ago, just about. And it dates back to the Natufi area. Very unique, very special. It's called Tel Hadid. So they did not destroy it, so you can enjoy it. If you come the other way, you can go and see that place. It's actually quite visited. So we are on road number 6. We're going to pass under the license plate readers. If you decide to rent a car in Israel, the rent-a-car company is going to charge you for whatever the road 6 charges you, and then their fee. So sometimes it's easier to register and just pay yourself. I'm not sure if you can do it with a non-Israeli address or credit card, but it's worthwhile trying. As you can see, it's a 4-lane road in this area, and it is congested many times. Mostly on the other side, like in the evening, the other side is always congested, especially on Thursday. But today is Wednesday, so we should be good. By the way, Ben Gurion Airport is exactly west of us to the left. Sometimes, I don't know what time it is, you have landings over your head. They usually land from here. But you have to be lucky, and I don't remember, the timetable of all the landings and takeoffs. The left-hand side is an industrial area. The closest building to us is Teva, which is a pharmaceutical company. It's an Israeli one. Teva means nature. There's also Teva shoes, same name, nature.
מפרקים
הכל
גדול
בסדר. אנחנו צריכים להחליט איזה שנה.
عندك بقى وقت تجيله السيارات اللي حوالي
זה מה שאני
مش خلي مسافة طيب
Sí. אז תשמע, יש 36. אז אני מבקשת, תגיד לי. אני גם רוצה ללכת 3:15, אבל 4:15. standstill almost. Going to Tel Aviv, probably, or somewhere. Yeah. I have no personal knowledge of any of those cars as far as I know. I mean, you know, and even if I did, I wouldn't know where they're going. So. לא, אנחנו בכביש 6. אני אגיד להם, אני נותנת להם למעלה מחצי שעה, כי מתל אביב עוד לא יצאו. אז ייקח להם לפחות בדיוק. אז אוקיי, אז אני אדבר איתך יותר מאוחר, אני אגיד להם יותר מחצי שעה. איזה מספר אוטובוס אתה יודע? 43, נכון? כן, כן, אני יודעת, אני אמרתי לכולם 43, יופי. אז עוד מעט אני אראה אותך, מצוין, תודה רבה. בוקר טוב, good morning, buenos dias. Where are we? Let me explain. There are bathrooms here on the left where you see the green signs. Baños a la izquierda, donde hay la verde, aquí, sí. We are going to stop here. Voila, we have parking. Yeah, okay. Good morning, everybody. So here's what's going to happen. We have over half an hour here. How do I know that? I spoke to the other guides. They haven't yet left Tel Aviv. Okay? So, let me explain what